how are you all doing? Thank you for your love and support. We really appreciate you. If today is the first time you are coming across us, or you are seeing this face for the first time, please do well to like our videos and share. In this platform, we react to all videos and your opinion is highly needed. So please sit back, watch this video carefully, drop your opinion in the comment section, and I'll be right back.
Hello, my people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining this program from. I remain your humble brother, Oyenwamado Kainebi. I'm here this morning to make a very crucial and very important video by dropping a message strictly for our people in Riverine area. We have been having a series of discussion on this Igbo unification of all Igbo'S across Nigeria. But there are some things that we will neglect. It will show that we are not serious. This morning, let me begin by talking to our brothers in River State, the ones in Bayelsa, the ones in Akwa Ibom. Looking at how blessed the state of River State is, you will agree with me that today that the sons and daughters of the state are more of slaves and servants in their own land. Reason, not just because their land is not blessed, not just because they don't know what to do, but the problem they are facing is that the ability to comprehend what could be their problem. Let me begin by telling you spiritually that River State, as an indigenous of River State, as an indigenous of Bayelsa State, you guys are actually under a certain spiritual influence that you don't have control over. And I'm here to tell you what the matter is. Let me tell you, I might sound so controversial, I might sound like someone who is rude, but I'm not rude. I want you to look away from me that is giving you this message, but look deeply and give ear to the message I'm giving to you this morning. Before the war, before the advent of the war, the civil war between Nigerians and Biafrans, we as a people, or rather let me say before the coming of Britain, the white men into this geographical area, we as a people have been living together happily as a people. We have a common heritage and understanding among ourselves, and there wasn't a time or information or documented evidence that shows that we are at war between ourselves. The changes that we are experiencing today actually began immediately invaders invaded our territory. The first people that invaded our territory was the British and the Portuguese and so on and so forth. When they came through this part of the country, they discovered that we are so rich, blessed with culture and so many things, and they discovered that our land were filled with mineral resources, so many things that the world cannot do without. Then they decided to plant a seed of discord. They did not achieve this under one day. Gradually, they began to make us know that we are not one. They began to create differences between every one of us. But there is a particular point I want to make this morning. Those of you who are denying your Igbo-ness, mind you, Igbo is a people, is a race. But when we will now begin to speak our language, we have our different dialects. But when you look at that dialect, we begin to look at the pronunciation, the way we call things or the way we mention things, you begin to see similarities. And I've said something about the things we worship, our culture, the ones we inherited from our forefathers. When you begin to look deeply into it, you begin to see similarities, you begin to see things that we prove to you that we are one. Now, when you begin to look at our customs and tradition, you cannot sweep away what we call some things that we forbid. In some places we call it Nswala. In some places we call it Nsani. And these are things that we forbid. We begin to look at it. That is where, when you look at those things we call Nsan and that is no different from it, from the 10 Commandments that was said, that was written by Moses. So our parents, our people had been observing those things before the advent of Bible. I want you to understand it. Now, I'm talking to people from River State, I'm talking to people from Delta State. You are my people. You know I'm from Delta. by political creation. You are from River by political creation, but that is not your original identity, because the name River State or the name Port Harcourt was actually given to a particular geographical location for an identification. But that is not who you are. But most of us have adopted it as our true nature or true identity. That is not our thing, and that is why everything about us is all about artificial. Now let me come again by talking to our brothers in River State. I've made similar video like this before, while I was trying to let them know the reason why they are passing through what they are passing through today. Now, permit me to tell you that when you go to Delta State, you go to River State, you go to Bayelsa, you go to Akwa Ibom, these states that I mentioned now, how they are the bedrock of Nigeria as a country. All the money, the wealth that Nigeria is, squandering today, the politicians are squandering today, are actually coming from this state that I just mentioned: Delta State, River State, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and so on and so forth. Now, how did I mean? These states are endowed with mineral resources, rich with mineral resources that could have turned that state to a heaven on earth. But do you know why? There is a mistake somewhere. Let me remind you of something you don't know. Because of greed and envy, because of envy and greed, because you want to be above your brother, you deny your brother, because at that period of war, like somebody like Kensaro, who we all know that after the war, he went ahead and occupied Ojukwu parents' property in Port Harcourt. Now you did that because you deny your Igbo'S, because you thought that a certain people from a certain location were actually prospering more than you, and you decided to disassociate yourself from them by making sure that everything they own after the war belongs to you. Now you took over the property of your brother. You even went ahead by undermining some life and taking some life because you want to take over some properties. After the war, people from Anambra, let me not use the word Igbo, people from Imo, people from Abia, presently Abia, people from Ebonyi, people from Enugu, and some people from Delta State actually lost their property in River State because after the war, most of their building was taken back by the people of the rivers, and things began to change. And these are your blood that you turn around, and even without you having a kind of a pity heart or a pity mind over them for what Nigeria State and Britain has actually done to them. They were killed and massacred. On returning back after the advent of the war, you denied them access to their homes, you denied them access to their property, you denied them access to so many things that actually belong to them. And you, on doing so, you forgot that that the Mother Earth will stand to fight for everyone that is righteous. And this is one of the problems that is befalling the people of the River State. Let me use somebody as a case study, looking at somebody who we see and so many people have respect for him, somebody like Asari Dokubo. When you look at Asari Dokubo today, you discover that the elders, that our forefathers are actually dealing with him. Sometimes when you see him talking on a Facebook, he speaks like someone that is abnormal. Sometimes he talks like someone who is normal. He's not actually working according to his own physical and natural sense, but something is against and something is manifesting in him. Look at all the sons and daughters of River State, able men. You look at things they call things are things that are not so called things. So things they place value on are some things that ought not to be placed value on. Do you know why? River States or riverine states will not get themselves until they come back to make an apology. They need to make an open apology. The message I'm giving to you this morning is brutal, but it's nothing but factual. I want you to accept it. If you want to doubt, or if you're doubting what I'm trying to tell you this morning, you can go and make an inquiry spiritually. Ask questions. I believe when you ask the question properly and in the right channel, an answer will be given to you. A whole lot of things have actually happened, and the River State people, Ikwere people, Ahoda people, Ebema people, all the communities, indigenous people of River State, they need to come up and make a pronunciation publicly to apologize to their brothers and their sisters whom they denied so many things, whom they betrayed because of earthly things. And yet, those whom you betrayed, they are now at the top. All the property that was taken from them, they have bought those property back. Are you not surprised? Mother Earth can never be against any man that is just. This is what I want to let you know. We need to stand up and begin to fight together. People from River State, people from Delta State, the people from Bayelsa, this is time you need to stand up to make an apology. You must make an apology for betraying your blood, because this is one of the things we are suffering today in this race. You cannot betray your blood, just as what happened between Abel and Cain. You see the written in the scripture. The one that gave, they were to make a sacrifice, an offering to God. One gave the fattest out of his stocks. The other one gave the most useless out of his own stock. And God blessed one. Out of jealousy and envy, the one that gave the useless one decided to betray his brother by killing him. Look at what the scripture said. He said, immediately the blood of his brother dropped on the mother earth. There was an established written covenant and curse upon the brother that killed his brother. This is what the River State people are passing through. You cannot betray your blood and at the same time stand to live happily. And that is why today Delta State, River State, Bayelsa is struggling to make a statement in their homeland, and all what they could achieve or all what they could amount to is to become a security, securing their property for visitors, for novice, for foreigners, securing what belongs to them. Now you are acting as a vigilante, as a security. Why somebody who is nowhere, who is not in any way connected to you, is eating the fruits that is in your compound, that is in your land, and you are working, acting as a watchman over the property that belongs to you? That is, by the way, I'm saying this and sounding this for those who are here. If you are here, want to hear, you can hear. That is one. Let me come again to our tradition and our culture. I made a post yesterday citing some of the information that I drop on the page through the scripture. I talked about some of the things we do. If you go through the message, you'll understand that most of the things you see are lying on that post. Our tradition, those things are our tradition. And most people are saying, wow. I read some comments why some are saying that this shows that we are connected to Israel. Some are making some assertion and other. Let me tell you something. The whites actually make good use of our brain, and they are still riding on it, because we are yet to understand the format and the tricks that these men are playing on us. When these men came to this part of the world, they discovered that we are too religious in nature, and the only way to get to us is to get us through religion. That is just the truth. You have a dog, you want to get your dog. The only way you can catch a fowl or chick is to give that chick what that chick wants. What does that chick want? Corn maize. If you want to catch a fowl now, having maize in your hand, you have 90% chance of catching that fowl. If you want to catch a dog, having bones in your hand, you have a 90% chance of getting to that dog. What does this white man do? When they came to this part of the world, they discovered that we are religious in nature. From origin, we understand that the existence of God, and that is why when we are being given birth to, they name you according to event and according to, some things that happen. It's either your name, every name we bear as far as our race is concerned is meaningful. And most 80 to 70% of our name give acknowledgement to God of his existence. And that is why in our names you see something like Uche Chuku, you see like thing like Isioma, you see like thing like Chukodi, you see something like what is it, Oke Chuku. These names are actually there to acknowledge the existence of God. They are not just coincidence, they are not just mere names. So before the white men came to this part of the world with scripture, before the British, before the Roman came, we understand and know that there is God and he exists among us. So what am I trying to tell you this morning? They know that the only way they can get to us and keep us into perpetual slavery is to bring us back to a point of slavery, a point of religion. They came, they studied us, they understand that these guys are well, they are well inclined with religion. They studied some of our antics, they studied some of our practice, they went back and developed something that will keep us busy. They came back with scripture. And part of the scripture you read from Genesis to Malachi, you will understand that 80 to 90% of what is written in that Genesis was actually the lifestyle and some of the activities of Africans. But do you know what? When they discovered that we could make a change, have an understanding to that effect, they had to bring in what is called New Testament. And in that New Testament, you see that the New Testament is of another dimension altogether. I don't want to go there because some of you will be saying that this guy, what do you think you're saying? But every statement or anything you hear me say, I'll always want you to look deep and reason deep to it. I'm not just saying because I know how to talk. I'm not just talking because I know how to talk. I just want to bring your understanding to some of the things that we're going through. Somebody who is born from a Kalan, from a Bake, who is Benue, your dialect could differ from my own dialect. But when we change the word, the pronunciation and everything, you see both the writing and everything is the same. And we check things we do, the manner we give our daughter hands in marriage, the manner we farm, our way of worship to our God. You will agree with me that there is no different from you and me. But one thing that we are still finding it difficult to reckon is that how men has taken political creation of some certain geographical area for an identification as their origin. Before the creation of Imo State as a state, before the creation of Anambra as a state, before the creation of Enugu, before the creation of Ebonyi Abia, before the creation of Delta State, even before the River State, who are we? These are season upon season. Before the creation of river, do you know before the creation of South, the River State was part and parcel of Southeast, Eastern region as it may be called then. So as politically, as they moved forward, they began to change territorial name and arrangement. So you adapting to it shouldn't mean that you should bury your original identity. This is the problem we are facing today. That is making an Igbo person to see him or herself not related with someone that is from Anambra. Rather, see somebody from Anambra seeing him or herself as one that is not related to someone from where? Delta. These are mere political names for an identification, and the people who created these political names for an identification, they actually did it for Ongo because they wanted development, civilization, urbanization to get to so many geographical areas. So what will we do if we allow Enugu to remain as a single state to govern the whole eastern region? Development will be very slow. So what we do, let us split these people into 7 states. Yes, splitting us into 7 states so that we can build, development can get to some point, does not mean that state has made you and I not to be related. Have this understanding that Delta and Edo is not different states. But there are people, Ika people that are part of Edo State, that are part of Edo State. And at the same time, there are people, Igbo, Enugu, Anambra people that are part of Imo. Even there are Enugu indigenous communities that are part of Ebonyi State. We dare say they are no more related to some of their kindred that are found in Enugu because they are now in Igbo'S State. If you allow that to happen, it simply means you don't actually know who you are. So my submission this time is that let us begin to look beyond political creation motivated state and begin to see what makes you and I related. So when you call somebody now, who are you from? I'm from Ika, I'm a Delta. To an extent, I will agree with you. You are a Delta by state, but you are not a Delta by origin. You are a Delta by state, but you are not a Delta by origin. You are an Enugu man, you are an Anambra man by state, but you are not an Anambra by origin. So these are things I want you to, and these are some of the things that have divided us more than we can think now. So let us begin to run this race of unity. Let us begin to make sure that all our sons and daughters are having understanding. One another thing that give helping hand to this division more is the killing of history in our academics, in our schools. History are no more being taught in our secondary schools. Histories are no more being taught in our high institution, because those who want us to remain divided more, they know why they take away history from our syllabus. So whether you like it, you are from Ebonyi, you are from Akwa Ibom, Cross River, what is it called, Bayelsa, you are from River, you are from Imo, you are from Abia, you are from Anambra, you are from what is it called, Nnewi, you are from Enugu, you are from Delta, you are from Benue. For the fact that we share the same values when it comes to traditional heritage and custom heritage, I want to let you know that we are one. States cannot decide whom you are. States can only decide political position, but cannot decide our identity or our origin. The only thing states can decide is when it comes to political formation, fine, you can stand up and say, yes, I'm an Anambarian. Politically, no problem. But we want to talk about indigenous. We want to talk about those who are affiliated spiritually, those who are interconnected traditionally and culturally. State shouldn't come in a place of barrier, because state, if we allow state to come in, that means we are actually giving room for more division. This is my submission this time. I am using this medium to call on my people. From Delta State, call on my people. From River Rhine, call on my people. From Anambra, Imo. This is time every one of us needs to stand up and make amend from our previous mistake, and come publicly to make tender an apology, unreserved apology, so that things can begin to work well for you and I. I remain your humble brother. If what you have heard me said this time on this video, you are not okay with it, or you're confused, you are okay and you are permitted to drop your comment with your question. You can call me, you can write me with your question. We chat, because what this discussion is not only made for me, as I'm planning to host a program, there will be an interactive section where people will call in and drop their opinion or make their question, so that we can address some of the things that bother us as a people. But before I leave, I still want to let you know that we grow weak every day when we give room to this division. But we can only be stronger than our enemy when we embrace unity. My friend, my name is Nnamdi, and I'm from Akumazo Mocha. And Akumazo Mocha is located in the Kanu East local government of Delta State. Abu Monyi Igbo, Abu Monyeka, Ekabu Igbo, Igbo Bika. Until I come your way again, remain blessed by Chukwu Kikami Odadiama. One love.